All right, so last up is Circle wants to IPO.
IPO.
What a time to announce it. One, they announced it, what is it, on April Fool's Day. And just a few days before Liberation Day. It was just brutal. Before we dive into that story, I just love to play a great interview sent here from Unchained. There's a great discussion on it that sets the tone for what this project actually is.
We should know too that this information just came out recently, but Circle's not going public yet. They've actually delayed the IPO because of market turmoil.
Okay, perfect. I mean, that's smart. But the idea here is the notion that a stablecoin might actually become a stablecoin company might actually become a publicly traded company, where you get all the eyes of the retail investors and the institutional investors to see, hey, what's going on here? Stablecoins are now breaking into, like, that's a milestone that a stablecoin would be breaking into the stock market space. It almost seems like this weird bastardization where crypto is now on the stock market.
Crypto's not an alternative thing anymore. It's now mainstream, huh?
That's right, exactly. It's like listening to Howard Stern now. It's like, you're no longer rogue here, buddy. Okay, let me pull this up, and there you go. So this is a clip from Unchained.
Structurally challenged. So what are these structural challenges you see to Circle's growth, and do you think there's any way they could overcome them?
Yeah, I think like the big part of the Circle story that is challenging for public market investors is like not only number one, are you wearing a lot of regulatory risk, which is at any given moment, one of the various different bills that is working its way through the various forms of US government could pass and fundamentally alter the entire landscape of this industry and in the way these companies operate throughout the US. So you have this big, bogeyman in the closet that you're potentially dealing with at any given point in time. And it's very clear from everything that's happened in the US government today and since the Trump election that there is going to be some more clarity ahead. Something will get through, there will be some guidance. And so you have this backdrop of regulatory clarity for the first time in a very long time. And I think, with that also comes like some of the huge competitive challenges the business faces, which is the second there is regulatory clarity, this sandbox that crypto companies have fortunately been able to play in and build great businesses around is now a global sandbox, and everyone is allowed to join the party. And I think Bank of America, you see all this stuff going on throughout the news, and you see all this reporting. Everyone is just waiting to get into this game, and they're waiting to get in because it's a phenomenal business. You can take in a deposit, you can make money off that, and you owe nothing to that customer. And ultimately, it's like a better version of an insurance company. And there's, if you go to a bank, it's a bank with no regulation really, and it is a phenomenal business to be in. And a lot of people would love to be in it. And a lot of people have really great brands that they can use to distribute a product like stablecoins globally. And they have.
I'm just waiting now for the Warren Buffett of the crypto space that has issued a stablecoin and is generating returns from treasuries, obviously, to then reinvest in other vehicles to buy up crypto projects or to buy up other publicly traded companies or private companies. We've got a new era in front of us here with this new better than insurance model that's out there.
That's right. And so this, I actually, until he said it, I never actually really understood that that's what the stablecoin was.
Right.
Was it essentially, it's a bond.
Yeah.
It's a bond that they don't have to pay you yield on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a zero interest a bond with infinite maturity, which is like what a dollar is, right? It's an infinite maturity bond with zero interest.
Right.
So it's all the same thing as counterfeiting money. All the things, but legally, but not legally, because the regulations aren't there. So he brings up this nice quagmire. He goes, okay, so you want to invest in, let's say you want to buy Circle when it gets listed. You're like, okay, I'm going to invest it because it's a great business. They seemingly have a moat because they're focused on compliance and regulations. And the other big competitor, USDT, which is even larger, they're outside of the United States. They're not trying to follow the rules in the same way, and who knows what's going on with the books, blah blah blah. And they're like, well, this is the alternative to that that's more in line. You don't have to worry about the regulatory risk that way because they focused on it. So then, so you're like, okay, I'm going to buy that, and then they get to essentially borrow money at 0% interest, invest that into 4% bonds, collect that yield for free, and then just redeem the token, and they get this free 4%.
Mhm.
So, but if other people come into the game, like he was just talking about, then they might, in order to compete, go, hey, we'll give you 1%. We'll give you 1% on your stablecoin holdings, like a true bond, and now you're getting this coupon payment. And then all of a sudden now, Circles doesn't seem so interesting, and then they go, oh, and by the way, the U.S. government has passed regulations to clarify how stablecoins can be issued and really bring clarity on that, so that the hurdle of getting all that compliance framework set up for Circle, you don't have to worry about that because all the hard work's been done. You're walking on roads now that have been paved. Now that also diminishes the moat for USDC. And then there's going to be competitors all the way to the point where someone goes, hey, I'll give you 3.9%, and I'll keep the 10 basis points, and that'll be the trade. And then why are you buying Circle stock? What are you getting out of that?
Well, I guess one other part of that competitive moat is the network effect of adoption that exists out there on the crypto exchanges. So the one other runner-up to this entire competitive landscape would be USDT, but I don't know if the Tether guys are going to be launching an IPO in the United States anytime soon.
No way.
That said, the ability for USDT to start issuing some kind of yield to those holders, which it does already exist. There were some platforms out there that were offering that, but let's say that's nascent to the environment or native to the environment. Wherever you hold USDT, you get some kind of rebate for that would incentivize users to actually navigate away from USDC over to USDT. I have noticed that USDC is getting larger and larger and larger across the crypto exchanges in terms of its usage.
Because, or one of the reasons is that, well, two reasons actually. USDT is banned in several countries, including in Canada. I can't use USDT. I have to use USDC.
Right.
There's also the distributions that the stablecoin will provide to the platforms that then supply the token. And so I think USDC supplies 50% of their revenue to Coinbase to be listed and available on that platform.
That
And
makes
you're like,
sense.
okay, well, how long can that last? And what happens to the other competitors coming to the field?
Right.
Circle tried to IPO in 2022 for $9 billion. That didn't work. They're trying to get now for 750 million. That's right. We'll see how that goes. So while
also
that
an
is
incredible discount to where they were originally going to list for.
I mean, so the as far as the regular consumer is concerned, this is, very bullish for, or can be seen as very bullish for the crypto space, just as far as, hey, we're going to get regulatory clarity. And sure, there's going to be, what do you call it? It's going to accrete to the few. We're going to have the Pareto distribution, and only a handful of people down the line will be the systems that we use. But we're like, this is first turning type stuff. This is the high. This is the beginning where it's Wild West, and we're learning what the rules are, and there's a bunch of money to be made. And when millennials, we look back to the boomers who made the money during their high. This is our moment for that, right? This is our moment to get in on the crypto market as the vanguard for the new thing. Sort of like in Germany when they had the whole thing with World War II. You might have heard of it. They everyone used to invest in the parents used to invest in the bond market, and the stock market was seen as their crypto market. Why are you going to be in some high risk, whatever? No, put your money in the government. You get your yield. That's safer. It's like, oh no, man. I'm different. I'll listen to my music the way I want to listen to my music. And
that
then
was
they bought
my
stock.
attitude.
Right. And then the stock market ended up way outperforming over time the bondholders. Well, there's a case to be made that we're starting to see that here, and that the bastardization of crypto, where ends up IPOing, the stablecoin ends up IPOing on the traditional markets, is just a way of absorbing the traditional markets, like the Trojan horse, just absorbing it in. So we'll see. I don't think that USDC, it's such a specific bet Like you can buy that. It's such a specific bet on a specific stablecoin without even really knowing how all the regulations are going to play out. That seems a lot very risky.
Yeah.
But in general in the space, this could be a huge proponent for more liquidity, and to pay attention to where we see the value accreting, and then using that as the as what we want to invest in.
So positive for crypto, maybe long Bitcoin over long Circle IPO though. I don't know if I'm a fan of the IPO or the holding.
Yeah, I mean, you might even as soon as because we're going to start seeing yield on stable coins, and you could imagine that the maybe I'm wrong. I would imagine that the initial yield that we're going to see in the space will be the highest it'll be, and then like 10 years from now it'll be a lot lower. Like at the
Yeah.
banks.
Sure.
So you probably don't want to miss out on that in the first run of it. So if they pass those bills this year, next year, I mean, just like people were doing the staking and yield farming in the DeFi phase in 2020, imagine having that, but with regulatory compliance and all integrated with your bank, and you don't have to worry about transferring your crypto through a ledger device or treasury device and losing it. Like you're going to have this whole framework in order to do it. That's, to me, that's super exciting, and it makes it the idea of Bitcoin on a million now even seem even more plausible than ever before. It's a stable coin. That's the thing that's necessary. That's what adds liquidity into the market. So
Sure.
Fascinating. Let's take a moment to shout out TradersPost, the automated trading platform designed to take the friction out of executing your strategies. Whether you're trading stocks, futures, or crypto, TradersPost connects seamlessly to your broker or exchange, giving you the flexibility to automate your trades without missing a beat. If you're tired of being the bottleneck in your own success, it's time to let automation do the heavy lifting. Head over to TradersPost.io and see how easy it is to streamline your trading. TradersPost, because your strategy deserves to run at full speed.